low. Tuesday, sunny, hot and humid, 98 degrees. Keep that going. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will add just a chance, tiny little chance of a pop thunderstorm for 4th of July. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service, Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Not sure if you should repair or replace an aging air conditioner? Check out the free repair or replace tool from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/repair or replace.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show here on 97.1 FM Talk. A big ruling today at the Supreme Court. Not really one that I think the Trump administration is feeling super excited about. We're going to speak with Gregg Jarrett in 14 minutes from right now to get the breakdown on three of the big cases that were ruled upon. No birthright citizenship ruling yet, but that is likely to come tomorrow. So we will stay very close to that story as it continues to break, and there shouldn't be any more rulings yet today. They should be done for the day. So Gregg Jarrett will be with us shortly to break down three of the cases that came out today. There's a case, two of them are kind of intertwined, and for my novice brain, I'm listening to these, I'm like, why did they rule one way on one and another way on the other? When it talks about the executive authority of the President of the United States to fire or dismiss people within the federal government. Well, one of them is associated with the FTC and has a little bit of a legal concern about their business in working with the FTC, and the other one is on the Federal Reserve. I'm pretty sure, and Gregg Jarrett will confirm this or maybe deny it at 12:18, that the Federal Reserve is very much supposed to be an independent body of agency or whatever you would call it in the federal government. And the independence of that is different than somebody who's working for the FTC who needs to serve within essentially the phrase that you hear all the time, especially if you watch White House drama shows. Are they making any of those right now? Is there any good White House television show out there right now? I've had so many people on both sides of the aisle tell me, Annie, have you watched Veep? Or they just quote it. And I'm like, no, I haven't, but everyone says I should, and everyone says, yeah, you need to watch it. Is his microphone up? Can you please?
If there is a big show, I don't know about it. And I will add that there are not a lot of big shows being made in general.
So the investment in all of the personnel that you need, big names to get the draw in, and then to get it on a network television, you just don't see that anymore. But I love a good government drama show that makes you feel like you do kind of have the behind the scenes look into how the sausage is made, so to speak. The president getting his executive authority checked on a part of that with his ability to dismiss the federal governor that is involved with the Federal Reserve, but not when it comes to the FTC. And there are people reacting to that ruling today, suggesting that this is a very defining moment in the Trump presidency regarding executive authority. That stuff's all over my head. I'm repeating to you what the smart people on the television have been saying, on my Twitter timeline have been saying from all areas of the aisle. Gregg Jarrett will break it down for us here shortly in about 10 minutes. Plus, the third ruling being on mail-in ballots. And the Supreme Court came down and said 5-4 with Amy Coney Barrett and the Chief Justice Roberts saying, no, you can count those ballots 5 days after. Like this case came from Mississippi. You can count them 5 days after. They just have to be postmarked by Election Day. Ryan, you okay?
I am not happy with the decision to appoint Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court.
You're going all the way back to the roots. That I think this is very surprising, but I would like to understand why they ruled the way they did. And also, I want to ask Gregg Jarrett shortly here, the Save America Act, is it in peril? Should you see the House and then the Senate, through likely the reconciliation process, get the Save America Act passed, as President Trump has prioritized for Congress by setting the housing bill aside last week and saying, no, I'm not signing that until you get the Save America Act done. Go take care of business. The Save America Act is that with which the Republicans, Senator Mike Lee has been a leading supporter of this. But of course, we've heard our Senator Eric Schmidt talk in great favor of it. It's about election integrity. And then they've tacked onto the Save America Act gender transitions and I think it's gender transitions and men and women's sports. I almost wish that they would take those two off, fight for that tooth and nail, but make the Save America Act the Election Integrity Act, where it's limiting mail-in ballots. And even when the president put out on the White House, or whoever writes the posts on X for the White House, puts out the 5 points of what they want to see happen with the Save America Act, they don't say no mail-in ballots at all. They say there's a time and a place. And states like California, Nevada, and others who mail out an actual ballot that you can vote on. It's not like, here's your sample ballot, so you can get a look and see what this is going to be like when you go in to vote on Election Day. No, they just mail you the ballot. And you can vote in person with the ballot you get there, or you can mail it in, or you can bring your mail-in ballot and swap it out and whatever. They say if you're sick, if you're infirmed, if you're going on vacation, if you have a purpose to have an absentee ballot that needs to be mailed in, we should do that. But other than that, let's narrow that down. So I will ask Gregg Jarrett, is the Save America Act provision on mail-in balloting in any peril with this Supreme Court to suggest that there could be legislation that defines federally when mail-in ballots can and cannot be accepted? Because the Supreme Court's interpretation of this particular ruling out of Mississippi is essentially, as I understand it, what they interpret the current law of the land to be. So if the current law of the land doesn't dictate that they have the authority through the Constitution and precedent to say, no, you can't accept these. They can't, just because they think it should be that way, legislate from the bench to say, no, you can't do this. But that also doesn't mean that Congress is not limited to make a law that would be constitutional that says, no, you can't do that. So that's the question for Gregg Jarrett.
Yeah, and that's the majority opinion. So that's the three liberals plus Barrett and Roberts. I've seen what they've said, but I would like to hear the dissent, and I'd like to hear Gregg Jarrett talk about what the four, because this is a very narrow.
Alito is hot.
Okay, good.
On these, and so we'll dip into that here shortly. Our first guest being Gregg Jarrett. Steve Moore's going to join us at 1:05 to give us an economy update and the stepping in and stepping out of the revolving door. I feel like all I can think of, Ron, you'll appreciate this, the Iran MOU situation is the revolving door in Elf while Buddy is trying to get into or out of the hotel, and he's like trying to time it right, but then he gets in and he doesn't know how to get out of it. And you don't know, is he gonna end up exiting back onto the street, or is he gonna make it into the hotel? You don't know.
So what you're saying is, at least we're having fun.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. That's what this feels like, fun. Of course. Steve Moore will be with us at 1:05 to talk about what's the economy doing, and then how is the Iran conflict war minor incursion. What is that doing to the economy right now? And is it temporary? Are there any lasting effects, good or bad, due to this conflict that will be intertwined with the understanding historically of what the Trump economic policy and success or failure has been? And then, of course, at 1:30, we'll speak with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who will give us his thoughts. I'm sure that he's going to come on the show and be like, I just think they really need to talk it out. No? Hug it out?
Well,
do you remember when Hug It Out? What was that show? Not Sopranos. Entourage. I think Hug It Out came from Entourage. Did you ever watch that?
No, I never did. I know what it is, but I've never really watched it.
Didn't that come from that?
I have no idea.
Hug It Out.
I don't know the show.
It's a whole phrase. And I think it was I'm sure we have a huge fan base of Entourage intersection with the Annie Frey Show.
Well, when the show ended,
We're almost the same
whole
show.
audience migrated here.
Yes.
So
I know. It's really how we were discovered.
it's kind of our beginning.
Yeah. You can't predict these things. So lots to discuss today here on the Annie Frey Show. But the YouTube poll, I'm asking you, should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? The president has said that this housing bill that got through, it's not easy to get a bill through Congress at all. When people use the phrase, it would take an act of Congress, that means whatever you're talking about is not going to happen.
It's impossible.
It doesn't, yeah. It's really the Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance that it would take an act of Congress means the amount of work and time and agreement it would take to accomplish this is not something you should count on in any way, shape, or form. But that housing bill that was supposed to be signed last week, the president said, set it aside. I'm not doing it. We're gonna focus on the Save America Act. Get it done. Get it on my desk. The Speaker of the House had said that same day that he had a conversation with the president, and that Truth Social post from President Trump was released while Speaker Johnson was addressing the press. They asked him the question about it. He was kind of like, oh, I didn't know that he was going to release a statement, and I didn't want to get ahead of the president, because you never scoop the president on an announcement, ever. You don't do that. And so then the speaker reacted to it, and he thinks, which is his job to tell the public that he thinks, that there's a way they can get it done. You need a 1-vote majority in the House to get an iteration of the Save America Act through. I believe I read that Thomas Massie said that he will support the bill, but that he said, I'll support it, but it's amazing that when the Republicans control the House and control the Senate and control the White House, that we're panicking over a bill that suggests that the elections are rigged. Which on the surface, if you're just gliding by that in between World Cup posts, Europeans visiting America, Sophie Cunningham pointing at you, just threw that on X, and then you see Thomas Massie there saying that, you're like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. But do you know how slim the majorities are? And do those incredibly slim majorities in our Congress actually reflect the will of the electorate? Or has the will of the electorate been manipulated in some way, shape, or form? Have the rules been changed, the goalposts been moved, so that teeny tiny majority of Republicans in the House isn't actually a reflection of who the people want to be there? Because it doesn't matter that you have the majority if it's a slim majority, and that's the best the Democrats could do in changing the rules to benefit their side. If it's being manipulated, I mean, won't it be interesting if the Save America Act gets passed, gets implemented, and we start seeing a dramatic change in what government looks like, because the rules haven't been so bastardized the way they were during COVID to benefit the left? We shall see. Ultimately, I'm interested to know if you want to see Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act the way the president has asked them to. Your options today are yes, above all else. No, you don't need him to prioritize it, but you do support the Save America Act. Or no, you don't want him to prioritize it, and you don't support it. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. We're going to break real quick here. Gregg Jarrett on the Supreme Court rulings when we come back. Don't go away.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Mirror Glass and Door, simply the finest when it comes to glass, mirror, and shower doors. Why? That's easy. Our sales staff and installation team consist of decades and decades of knowledge, consistently keeping updated on all of the industry's newest and greatest ideas, which of course means you get the best advice along with the best installation. One trip to Chesterfield Valley will show you why our prices aren't the only reason to buy from us. That's Mirror Glass and Door.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering from Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
The Save America Act. Everybody wants it. Everybody is it, including Democrats. 87% of Democrats want it. Not the leaders, because they want to cheat. Their policy is so bad, they're unelectable.
So President Trump speaking about the Save America Act last week, and part of the Save America Act says no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel. My big question is, the Supreme Court ruled today on mail-in ballots based on that case out of Mississippi. Is the Save America Act in any trouble should it pass because of this ruling? Let's get to Gregg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, and author of some incredible books you can check out. Greg, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today after these rulings. Thanks for being here.
Good to be with you, Annie.
So talk to me a little bit about the Supreme Court ruling on that Mississippi case, what they determined about mail-in ballots, and then we'll get down the road to the Save America Act.
Well, this wasn't about ideology. It was a specific reading of existing federal law. And the court said that the federal statute specifies when voters must vote, but it doesn't say anything about when mail-in ballots must be received. So it is up to Congress, said the court, to pass such a law if they want ballots to be received by Election Day. And until then, states have the power to manage ballot counting, which is what Mississippi did in this case. It's entirely consistent with the Constitution. If you read the Elections Clause in the Constitution, it gives Congress the power to regulate federal elections, but states have the authority to administer them. And that includes everything from voter registration to polling locations, ballot design, and vote counting. So to your point about the Save America Act, I think this opinion by the nation's highest court incentivizes Congress to do what the Constitution tells them to do, write laws that regulate federal elections, and that's what the Save America Act does.
We're speaking with Gregg Jarrett here. Now, what I hear you saying, if it were an activist court bench, Supreme Court bench, if they were activists, if they were in the back pocket of President Trump, it seemed like this would have been a really good opportunity for the Supreme Court to legislate from the bench and maybe put this into plan. But it seems as though we have a judicial branch that's saying, hey, legislative branch, your move, this is your responsibility, not ours.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for those who constantly accuse the Supreme Court of being in the bag for Trump, this is yet another example in which they're not. The Chief Justice, John Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, Associate Justice, sided with the three liberals on the court and said there are limits here. And if you want something done about mail-in ballots, go across the street to the legislature. And, that's where the power resides pursuant to the Constitution.
Well, let's shift away from that Supreme Court ruling today. There were two other big ones that are being discussed largely, and they have to do with the executive authority to fire people who serve in the federal government. Can you give us the distinction between the two? Because it looks on the surface level for us non-legal eagles like, oh, you can fire those people, but you can't fire those people. What's the difference in these two cases that defined or refined executive authority?
Well, so on the one hand, the Supreme Court today in the so-called Slaughter case gave the president broad authority to fire leaders of federal regulatory agencies because they're exercising executive power, and they must report to the chief executive, the president, who controls those federal agencies, so he can unilaterally fire at will. But insofar as the Federal Reserve is concerned, the Supreme Court drew a constitutional and statutory line around the central bank. The majority said the president cannot fire a Fed governor without satisfying the standard in the Fed statute, which is for cause, and that includes giving Lisa Cook due process. And the court said, wait a minute here, we're not sure you really gave her due process. You just sort of said you're fired. You didn't give her a chance to respond. That's due process. So what the Supreme Court did was they created an exception for the Federal Reserve as opposed to these other regulatory agencies. And why did they do that? Well, the answer is simple. Because in creating the Fed back in 1913, Congress structured it to operate independently because they recognized that monetary policy is meant to be protected from political pressure. Understand here that the court didn't say that a federal governor can never be fired, only that you got to meet the statutory standard of due process when you do it. It's as simple as that.
I want to shift gears because I know we have to let you go here in just a minute, but there are two cases that get a lot of play and discussion as far as funding midterms goes. I want to bring up George Soros and his son, Alex Soros. New York Post reports here this weekend that they've funneled $103 million into the midterms so far. But today, from a Fox News report, I'm reading on a different name that has been coming up lately, a federal grand jury is investigating alleged financial crimes by Neville Roy Singham, the China-based tech tycoon whose fortune has funded a sprawling network of socialist, communist, and Marxist organizations across the United States. They're suggesting that he's pumped $285 million from Shanghai into a philanthropy fund and some shell corporations that have found its way into some of these election processes. Can you speak to what the Department of Justice is looking into here, or where maybe you'd like them to look into here?
Well, they're being mysterious, so I can't say for sure what they're looking into. But look, we have pretty strict laws about foreign money, particularly through shell corporations, that go into U.S. businesses, nonprofits, as well as elections. And I can only suspect that they're investigating whether this was done properly or done in violation of law, particularly if it involves, supporting individuals who are engaging in unlawful activity. And often money laundering occurs during the course of that. So, you can't pay for criminal activity. And if that's what's been going on with Antifa and other organizations, then, that's going to be a problem for them. Mm-hmm. But, part of the problem is historically, all kinds of, tens of millions of dollars have been funneled into super PACs. And you don't always have to identify the donor, unlimited. I always thought that was a wrongful decision by the Supreme Court, Citizens United, and this may be one of the negative results that, I feared.
Yeah, I agree. Do we expect birthright citizenship ruling tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow's the last day. The Chief Justice has said that, so, that's a big one. Whether children born in the U.S. to non-citizens who are not legal residents are entitled to automatic birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. I have written columns arguing that if you go back to the debate when the authors of that provision in the 14th Amendment crafted it, they specifically said that this is not to apply to the equivalent of birthright citizenship. So, but I listened to the oral arguments, and that wasn't an emphatic argument. I think it should have been. I think the odds are against Trump on birthright citizenship.
Yeah, I that's what everybody seems to say, and you specifically. I encourage people to read what you've written about it. We will find out tomorrow. Gregg Jarrett, always a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much. Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. Gregg Jarrett is a Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, and author with some incredible books going back on navigating through. While it wasn't commonly understood the way it is right now with some fact-based information that's been released since the Russia hoax and everything they've thrown at President Trump, he was writing the book on it before it was out there the way it is right now. You should read it. Let's take a quick break. We are going to do Wiggins America, Wiggins Monday Roundup at the end of this hour, and we'll turn around at the top of the 1 o'clock hour and talk to Steve Moore about the economy and the Iran impact on it. Chuck Schumer is having a little struggle. Talk about the things that are popular in the Democrat Party and not. Most of the time we're talking about socialism. We'll dip into that a little bit. But Chuck Schumer, how's that guy doing? We'll discuss when we come back.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? Your answers are, that you can choose from to vote, yes, above all else, no, but I support it, no, and I don't support it. Those are your options. Let us know what you think about passing the Save America Act. It is 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Happy birthday, America, in 2026. Get used to hearing the word semi-quincentennial. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
How's he doing among Democrats in New York, his home state?
Yeah, you think that this number is bad. What about here in his home state of New York? I tell you, these numbers scream primary challenge 2 years from now. Look at this. Okay, New York Dems who view Chuck Schumer favorably. Again, in early 2020, it was 75%, 3 in 4 Democrats. Now it is less than half. Less than half of Democrats in Chuck Schumer's home state of New York, 47% who view him favorably. This is part of a larger picture in which Democrats are turning against their leadership. They are specifically turning against Chuck Schumer. He is actually underwater nationally with Democrats. And even in his own home state of New York, the Empire State, he can't even reach 50% favorable rating with Democrats.
I thought Harry Enton was going to say, he said the Empire State. I thought he was going to say the Empire Strikes Back. And then he'd be talking about socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Communism.
Yep, and then he'd reference Return of the Jedi in some way, and everybody'd laugh a little bit, and Harry Enton would get a big promotion.
I'm a Christian. I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I believe that when I die, I will go to heaven because Jesus saved me. But I'm thinking about reincarnation right now because I think Billy Mays died, traded in his OxyClean for polls, and came back as Harry Enton on CNN.
My gosh, that was a road.
Thank you.
And I followed you down it, and I don't
happy?
know that I...
Aren't you happy we're here?
I don't think so. Billy Mays. Billy Mays. The timeline of Billy Mays and Harry Enton doesn't work, though, Annie.
Why? I think it does. Especially if you see Billy Mays, if you see this guy's face, and then you look at Harry Enton's face, you're like, okay, I don't know. There might be something there.
Mays only died about 15 years ago. So whoever...
Well, Harry Enton looks like he's, about 15.
I guess we can look into that.
I mean, this is kind of blurry, so it kind of helps with my point. Is that Billy Mays or is that Harry Enton? It's hard to tell.
It's one of those CAPTCHA tests.
It looks, yeah, exactly. Put the OxyClean in Billy Mays' hand. Let's do it.
Click all pictures that look like Billy Mays.
You know what, Ryan, you would be really good at? You would be really good at conceptualizing CAPTCHA puzzles for people, for companies that really didn't want to have to do it, but needed to. Just stupid things. Wouldn't it be kind of fun to come across a good CAPTCHA that made you laugh while you were doing it?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, put the frozen yogurt into the orchard's mouth, or ostrich's mouth. I thought it said orchard for some reason. Well, it was last minute.
We're all tap dancing here. Just leave us alone. Chuck Schumer is not popular. Why would he be? I mean, I don't know that popular. Okay, he said 75% in New York approved of Chuck Schumer in early 2020. We're not far away from that, even though that is like a generational lifetime of what happened in early 2020 versus where we are in mid-2026 right now. But I was thinking about this on the way in, and this is a really, really important thing that all Americans, left, right, center, independent, not paying any attention, just, it's time to peek around the corner and pay attention to something that you don't really pay attention to a whole lot. I think the Democrat Party is proof that socialism creep is a disaster anywhere at any time. The Democrats, last week we played the clip of the 13 moderate Democrats who are like, hey, we're Democrats, but we're capitalists. We're not socialists. This isn't what we're about. And we need to say that, yeah, we're out here and willing to say under the tent of the Democrat Party that we are part of this party and we are not part of the socialist movement. But it's taking place throughout the country. New York is shockingly, the ground zero right now for socialist growth because it's Mamdani, but because it's in New York. We don't talk about Seattle. Seattle's got that crazy, isn't it a mayor?
Mm-hmm.
That woman, she's nuts. Mm-hmm. And we're just like, yeah, but that's Seattle.
And so does Boston. Boston, that lady makes the news all the time, but you don't remember it because it's Boston and not New York.
So Mamdani was sitting down for an interview here recently and was asked, like, do you think socialism is working because it's New York? Can socialism win in these other places around the country? And he said, socialism can win anywhere.
Yeah.
So listen, capitalists who are in the Democrat Party, flex your muscles on different ways to achieve solutions to problems in the United States of America that don't align with the Republican Party or the conservative movement or the MAGA movement or the America First movement or whatever movement it is that is on the right that you want to label it as. There is room in this country for Democrats, for moderates, for people who maybe wear their heart on their sleeve and they want to invest more in local issues and invest your tax dollars into local issues. Sometimes collectively we come together and we say, yeah, I think that is a worthy investment. I think we should, as a community, help these people. But you got to persuade people on the left and the right. You have to persuade a majority of people to say that that is a worthy expenditure of the money that you take out of my pocket. That's what capitalism is. Socialism, I'm boiling this down to a very, very ugly residual here. But socialism says, I don't really care what you think. We've determined as the government that you elected to say these are the people who need help, and we will do what we need to do in order to provide them the help that we determine is adequate enough. And then we will tell you to say thank you when we hand it to you. And if we can't meet the full extent in a socialistic world where you heard Mamdani say in New York, I promised fast buses and free buses, and we're going to work on the fast first. If you can say that if you can look as a socialist and say, oh, I can get them faster buses, it's kind of hard to argue with that. But it's going to be a tougher putt to tell all these people, yeah, buses are going to be free. We're not going to explain you're going to pay through the tax dollars. When you pay more to purchase things in New York City, you pay more to live in New York City. It pays more if you have to work in New York City. All of those things are going to add up. We're going to take your money on the back end so we can provide people free things. I mean, free buses are great, but what if you're not somebody who uses the bus system? What if that's not something that is a service that you need? You're still definitely going to have to pay for it. That's how people advocate for an educated public. I think there is a healthy argument to be made for an educated public, which means that every child who is attending school should be provided a top quality education and shouldn't have restrictions placed on them because of their lot in life, their parents' lot in life. That is why J.B. Pritzker opted in to the school choice dollars that were part of the big, beautiful bill so that money isn't a factor as to where children have to attend school. But I digress. You want the government to constantly decide what your needs are and then tell you when provided for by the government through the taxpayer dollar that that's an adequate provision. You're going to complain about free stuff? How are you going to sit here and complain about free stuff? Because you have the intellect to understand that it isn't free. The government doesn't have the wherewithal or the means to provide anything for free. They must take to provide. And sometimes a community comes together and says, you know what? I think that roads, it's hard to figure out who's going to have to pay for the roads. It's hard to figure out how we make the people who are paying for the roads, if you're tolling them or whatever, who are the people who are providing the upkeep for it? Are they public companies? Are they private companies? These are complicated decisions. And on the whole, roads, bridges have been deemed a taxpayer-funded product. And so far, that's pretty much been the way that it's gone. There's probably an advocacy out there, I can think of a few, who would like to privatize those roads. And then there's a big pushback as to why maybe that wouldn't work. Those are important conversations to have. But the second you let socialism creep into the conversation and those socialism discussions are happening about free this, free that, without any depth as to how this socialism is paid for, these people get elected and then it's going to spread like wildfire because it sounds great. It looks like failure everywhere across the globe. And I don't think you can prove me wrong on that. Show me the socialist haven where people are flocking to right now. Point it out on the map. I'd love to know. Wiggins America Monday Roundup next. The Retirement Advisory Group, you know the names, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, 314-993-9494. Thomas Helbig has been a partner with us for so long. The Retirement Advisory Group is there to help you move from working life to retired life, the sweet life. So I hear. I'm not close. 314-993-9494. Maybe I am close. I don't know. Anyway, 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com. You work with them to establish a personalized structured income plan. You work with them to understand how your money is going to work for you. You work with them to understand a true picture of I can retire now and I can do so with confidence. There are important moves that you need to make in that transition period time, and the Retirement Advisory Group is there to make sure you don't miss a single one of them. 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. You can look them up online, schedule an appointment as well, and tell them Annie sent you at retirementkey.com.
This is your reminder on 4th of July night to tune in to 97.1 FM Talk. It's 3 hours of commercial-free American and patriotic music set to your evening. This is Ryan Wiggins. I'll be your host. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder. But our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Wiggins! Oh! Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. We gotta start with something that I don't think you two are gonna care about at all. So this story is basically for me and the listeners. You guys can tune out.
Okay.
The holy grail of lost Beatles footage has been recovered.
I do not care about that.
Oh, yeah? I just didn't think you guys were into the Beatles that much.
I think they're incredible and transformative and obvious icons.
Well, Brad doesn't even think that.
No, Brad hates them.
overrated.
Brad thinks they're overrated.
We don't have time for this.
So this is 6 decades ago. Footage from the Beatles' first ever appearance on British TV show Top of the Pops.
I don't believe it. I think it's AI, and I think someone's getting rich off views. Go on.
Possible, but they did show the little reel-to-reel that they found, and that also could be AI, though.
No, it looks old, Annie.
But it looks real, though.
Grok, make it look old.
Yeah. It has resurfaced clips fans have long called the holy grail of Beatlemania. As was common at the time, they thought the tape had been reused and re-recorded over, but I guess there was one copy floating around somewhere that they found. The footage, which captures 4 grainy takes of Can't Buy Me Love and 2 of You Can't Do That, banter and bloopers included, was given to the group by a family of deceased former industry professionals. And they said that they are going to make this public eventually, but they want to go through the restoration process, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of charge for it. They're going to probably have some sort of big release. Disney might be involved. As you've seen recently, Disney's been very involved with all things Beatles. But I think they've done a great job with some of the Let It Be stuff and some of the new documentaries. Hopefully this will be made into something like that, maybe a half hour or less, because it's not that much footage, but it is very much prime Beatles footage and a lot of banter between it, which will be fun to see. So, even though you guys don't care about that.
I love a good banter, just like Ethan.
Ethan, care to banter about your banter? Or?
Why are we even talking about this? Why do we need to discuss this? That's Ethan's famous.
Why are we talking about anything? Can't we just let everything just be?
Just leave people alone. They're working and driving.
Let's just play music.
Well.
All right. Customers are ditching companies that force them to talk to AI, apparently. They just won't do business with them. There's something grating about finding out that the customer service representative on the other end of the line is an AI agent, not an actual human. Has it happened to you, Annie?
I definitely talked to AI people. AI entities, not people.
Yeah, not people.
What I don't like, if you want to use AI, just use AI. But don't make it sound like a human.
I can't tell sometimes.
Well, you can have a conversation in a particular way that somebody be like, what are you talking about? If it were a real person. But don't dupe me. If it's better for your business to hire some sort of system that can make your business better, provide a better service or product to me, and it involves AI, I'm not opposed to it on the surface, but don't dupe me into thinking I'm talking to a human. I don't need that.
Are you talking about phone calls or chats?
Phone calls.
because I don't know about phone calls. I may have talked to AI and not known it. I think that you can kind of figure that out a little bit easier. When you're doing a live chat with a company, that's when you really don't know.
I would suspect that 95% of the AI chats that or of the chats that you're in on a website, at least 95% are AI.
I would too.
Initially. And then
somebody steps in.
The idea is that, as I understand it, is that AI is the like call desk, where if you phone in, you used to have an operator who would say, okay, I'll send you to this department or that department. But if somebody wants to know what your hours are, you don't need to spend human time going, oh, we're open till 8.
Right.
But if you're saying, I bought this product and now it's not working and I'd like to ask questions about my warranty, then maybe that gets to a human. So I'm not opposed to that. If you've got somebody who's directing traffic, I'd like for someone to be employed doing that because it's a job, but that's not the world we live in. If you've got someone who, this is really the same thing as instead of saying, for departures, press 1. For arrivals, press 2. For lost luggage, press 3. Having AI is the same thing as having a recorded thing that tells you what button to press. I think it's just maybe supposed to feel a little more personal, but I'm not really.
So last weekend, not this most recent one, but before, I was trying to cancel a hotel reservation. And I thought at first I was speaking with AI, but it said its name was Arnold Tipman. And I'm like, are they naming the AI now?
Is that the name you'd pick for you?
It felt very AI
Arnold
the whole
what?
time I'm talking to Arnold Tipman or whatever.
Oh.
And I'm talking to him, and I wanted to ask him, are you AI? But, it took him like 3 minutes to respond every time. So I'm like, maybe this is a real person because it's not very quick. But I still never discovered it. And if they are naming their AI people names, that's a problem. I don't like that.
No,
I don't
just be straight with me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, the news there is that customers are noticeably ditching companies that force them to talk to AI. They just don't. Basically, when you find out it's AI, you just go, nah, I'm not dealing with it. And then just hang up.
I will do that.
Next story is a really bit of a crazy one here, but we're going to dive in from Vice News. It says a whistleblower has been confirmed. A whistleblower claims that the CIA is searching DNA sites for alien human hybrids. The story involves 23andMe, Ancestry.com, and many others that say that...
you ever done one of those?
Is
your DNA in a system?
So here's what's weird. I did it, and then I think I sent it wrong, and it never made it to the company or something because I never got my results.
Yeah, but the bad news is you sent it to the CIA.
Got him.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to outthink the system.
I was like, I just want to know if I have a second cousin. They're like, you're an alien, man, and you're a Neanderthal.
Ooh, will you tell us if you are? That would explain some things.
I will, but I don't know because I sent it to the wrong place.
Who on the show would most likely be hybrid alien?
Hybrid alien? You.
Why?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
You just want it to be me.
I just want it to be you because, I don't know. I just think it would be better for the show if you were the alien.
We'll take what we can get. 314-241-9797 on the text line. Our poll is, should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? But I'd also like to know who likely is hybrid alien, if one of the four of us is, but specifically why.
Yeah, we're going to need to know why.
Ryan knows who. He just doesn't know why.
I have no idea why because I don't know. Here's the problem. When you ask me, what attributes does an alien have that Annie has? I don't know aliens. Or maybe I do.
This is why I'm so private with my life.
And so I need to know...
my other family is from Venus.
What a typical alien's like to apply those attributes to Annie.
314-241-9797. Should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? And who among us is an alien? Steve Moore next.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Rev up your Cardinals wardrobe on Friday, July 10th when the Cardinals battle the Braves. That night, fans can shift into style with the Cardinals garage-style button-up presented by Brown & Crouppen. A retro-inspired look featuring detailed stitching and a classic patch for vintage game day vibes. It's available in medium and extra large while supplies last. Gear up and take this look for a spin. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Dustin May. See you at Busch Stadium.
Sail on down for the inaugural Yacht Rock Night on Friday, July 10th, when the Cardinals take on the Braves. With the purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home an exclusive Cardinals captain's hat, perfect for smooth sailing all summer long. Don't miss a pregame concert by the Yacht Rockers on the Budweiser stage. Set the vibe and cruise into the weekend. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/theme.
So we've seen some rain this weekend. Did it make its way into your basement? Hope not. If it did, you need to call Home Shield. HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website, but their phone number, if you need to get a visit scheduled for Matt Hayes, he's the owner there, to come look at your basement and give you a quote on how to get it fixed once and for all. To get that basement waterproof so you don't have to worry about it any longer. That waterproofing comes with a lifetime warranty. Matt Hayes and his incredible team are very proud to stand by the work that they do. Call 314-271-9900. Home Shield Foundation Repair does a whole host of foundation repair services. So it's not just basement waterproofing, but I'd imagine a lot of you listening right now are thinking, I have to do something about this. I am so sick and tired of dealing with this. Every time the rain comes in, you need somebody who's going to fix it and fix it right. You don't want to go through multiple contractors. 314-271-9900. Find them online right now at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
The final rulings of the Supreme Court's current term now due out tomorrow.
Cases include the closely watched challenge to President Trump's executive order limiting birthright citizenship. Lower courts have concluded the action violates or likely violates the 14th Amendment. Another case is one involving a Republican challenge to campaign finance limits and LGBTQ rights cases from Idaho and West Virginia that deal with transgender students in public school sports.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Among today's rulings, a split decision for the president on firings at federal agencies. The justice is ruling 6-3 that a Federal Trade Commission member can be fired even without cause. But a 5-4 decision says Fed Governor Lisa Cook can stay on the job while fighting the president's effort to fire her over mortgage fraud allegations she denies. The High Court also ruling mail-in ballots arriving after Election Day can be counted in Mississippi, while agreeing to hear a challenge to stricter voter ID laws in Arizona.
Justices will consider a Republican appeal to enforce an Arizona law requiring proof of citizenship for state and local elections. The law passed Arizona. The case first reached the Supreme Court in 2024, and the justices gave a partial victory to Republican challengers, allowing proof of citizenship in state and local races, but not federal elections. Arguments won't be heard until the fall, likely too late to impact the upcoming midterm elections.
Fox's Jared Halpern. A grueling search for earthquake survivors in Venezuela includes crews from the U.S.
A team that Fox News is embedded with is the L.A. County Search and Fire Rescue Team. They're going to collapse structures and using audio technology to verify noise of possible survivors, and then a specialized unit carries out the rescue missions. More help is coming in the form of 130 U.S. Marines. They're working to open the port of La Guaira, which will help rescue and relief teams deliver supplies.
Fox's Nate Foy. America is listening to Fox News.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask Chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's our holiday weekend. Lots of sunshine this afternoon. It's hot. It's steamy. 95 degrees. Tonight, clear, warm, and humid. 77. That's it for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny, hot, and humid. 98 degrees. Keep that going. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll add just a chance, tiny little chance of a pop thunderstorm for 4th of July. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your air conditioner needs service anytime, day or night, Air Comfort Service has almost 60 years of experience and is family-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Frey.
I think they just think people are stupid, and they don't understand, and they don't realise what's going on in the rest of the country. But of course, because it's reported on the whole time. And just this week, I'm on a trip around the country. I'll be in D.C. tomorrow. I'll be checking out the pavilion exactly. But yesterday I was in Texas, and we filled up with gas in Texas, $3.59. On Monday in Los Angeles, $8.59.
A gallon?
$8.59. You can see the video, and so. That's not Trump. That's not the Iran war. That is 100% Democrat policies in California, deliberately gouging, especially working people and small business owners who use their cars and trucks many hours a day. And that's what I'm going to change. My plan, $3 gas.
Governor, potentially Steve Hilton in California. I don't know if that's possible, but it's more possible now than it ever has been before. Do the socialist leaning, if not socialist identifying, policies turn blue states into the economic hellholes that they are? Well, somebody knows a lot about that. Steve Moore's joining us once again, co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity, host of More Money, and author of The Trump Economic Miracle. Steve, welcome back to the show. Happy Monday.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you.
What do you think? What's your reaction when you're seeing socialism, especially those elections in New York City that picked those socialist candidates? Is this something that the whole country should be watching with a little bit of nervousness, anxiety? Yeah.
Well, first of all, happy 4th of July. I mean, this is an amazing time for our country. It's just, think about this. There's 6.5 billion, 7 billion people on the planet, and we're the lucky ones. We're the lucky 300 million.
True.
That were born in this amazing country. And it was built on peace and prosperity and freedom. So it is highly distressing to think that we actually have politicians that want to give us less freedom. I mean, it's really disheartening, to say the least. And we're seeing this in so many of our major cities now. New York City has a socialist mayor. Chicago has a socialist mayor, and socialist/communist. And then you have the situation, of course, with what's happening in Los Angeles, where, they have two socialists running for mayor, so it's Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Seattle. So is it concerning? It sure is. And the question is, why is it happening? You look at what happened in New York and the election of a whole slew of these, what they call Democrat socialists, who want to get rid of the ICE. They want to eliminate the Pentagon. They want to get rid of publicly traded corporations so that everyone has a ownership in the companies. They want to have free food, free rent, free transportation. Who's going to pay for all this? So it is diabolical. It is so wrong. And I've been thinking a lot about this, Annie, and I think it's a real failure of our education system that you have so many of these young people who embrace socialism. And the last thing I'll say, and I know I've been going on, but when I give lectures on college campuses, I don't do it as often as I used to, but I used to do it a lot, and I still do it occasionally. And I'll talk about, freedom versus communism and, capitalism versus socialism. And all these kids would come up to me afterwards, but they wouldn't be the American kids. They'd be the kids who grew up in Hungary or the kids who grew up in Poland or the kids who grew up in Cuba. And they're saying, what is wrong with these people? I came to this country to find freedom, and my schoolmates want to give up freedom. So it is a dangerous time for America. But look, we're going to prevail. I think this is a bunch of idiots in blue cities that have taken charge, and all the more reason red states and red cities have to get it right.
Yeah, amen to that. Steve Moore speaking with us right now. Last week, towards the end of the week, there were, I think at the time, 13 Democrats who came out and said, this is a Big Ten party, but we're in the Democrat Party. They didn't say, I think we're going to flip our party affiliation here, but they said, we're capitalists. We're not socialists. Can Democrats have a big enough tent where they welcome in capitalists and socialists?
Well, this is the problem. I mean, look, you've got, 10 to 20% of the party that is now, completely dingbat, left-wing, socialism. Go Che Guevara, people who wear Che Guevara T-shirts, because Che Guevara murdered, hundreds and hundreds of people. But the problem I see is I don't see any of these national Democrats like, someone like Gavin Newsom, who's, could very well be the Democrat nominee in 2028, or these other governors. Why aren't they speaking out against this? It's one thing. It's not enough to be quiet and just, keep your lips sealed. No, you have a responsibility as an American, and if you care about the Democratic Party, to speak out against these people. But they're afraid to, and do they care so much about their stupid jobs that they're not willing to protect America against these crazy ideas that have taken root in so many cities? I don't know. When is one of these going to, Annie, when is one of them going to say this emperor wears no clothes?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to speak up sooner or later, I hope, because I don't think it's going to be tenable for the party. It does occur to me that the socialism creep that's taking place right now in our country, it seems like it slowly devours. That in order to push back against socialism, you'd have to look it square in the eye and make a concerted effort to push it back. You can't kind of demean it. You can't relegate it to the corner and let them have their little space to destroy. That you would have to do maybe what the Democrats were doing last week and come out and call it out. But 13 Democrats of people whose names not a lot of people know is not going to be enough to do it. Like you said, we need some national figure pushback.
That was 13 in Congress, or?
Yeah, there was some congressmen.
There's 210 of them.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Only 13 had the courage to stand up and say, this is lunacy. This is going to bankrupt our country. It's going to make us poor. I mean, there's a reason that the United States has become the richest country in the world. Our middle class, the average median income family today in the United States is close to $90,000. In most countries, that's rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this idea, the middle class, look, Elon Musk now has apparently $1 trillion. But think of all the millionaires he's made, the people who make over $100,000 now, the people who are getting these incredible services. That's what America is about. You get rich by making other people rich. And this assault against the free enterprise system is really very, very troubling. And, the other thing I was going to say is, you look at some of these candidates who won in New York City. I think 2 or 3 of them were graduates from Columbia University. I mean, that's an Ivy League school, Annie.
Yeah.
What the hell are they learning?
Amen to that. Yeah, not love for country, that's for sure.
It's almost like the more education they get, the stupider they become.
Quoting that one, writing that down, Steve Moore. Before we let you go, I just wanted to ask you if you could sum up in the minutes that we have left with you. Where are we right now with the Trump economy? Because the Iran conflict certainly has an effect on it. What are people missing right now because they're super locked in on gas prices, which are coming down? But how is the Trump economy doing? How is the economic plan that the administration brought in? What kind of success are they or aren't they having?
I'm pretty bullish generally. I mean, I think we've got record high stock values, and probably everybody listening to the show has money in the market, either in your retirement plan or your individual savings plans. We've got taxes lower. We're reducing regulatory costs. We're trying to get rid of the fraud in government programs. By the way, why are the Democrats not going after fraud?
No.
They like it? I mean, it really is unbelievable.
Maybe they need it.
At one point that they believed in good government, now they just believe in big government, whether it's good government or not. So anyway, I think that we could be at the beginning stages of a boom. We have a pro-business president. He's a free market capitalist. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to reduce regulations. We're going to we have to lead the AI fight. I know a lot of people are very anxious about AI, but it's coming, and we have to make sure the United States leads this, not China.
Yeah, and to have the minds in the administration that are considering that as such is so important. Oh my! Yeah. You ever sit and think back if Kamala Harris would have won?
Sorry, say again?
Do you ever sit back and think about just what Kamala Harris presidency would have looked like at this point?
You know, it would have been scary, right? I mean, I'll just give you one example. Trump has been all in on American oil and gas. We're producing more oil and gas than any time in the history of our country. We're now leading the world in oil and gas production. Kamala Harris wanted to shut it all down. We'd be saying, if you don't like paying $4 a gallon gasoline, what would $10 a gallon gasoline feel like?
Yeah, she'd be telling you it's your patriotic duty. All right. Steve Moore, we're grateful.
Speaking of patriotic duty, but I was listening to your weather forecast. I'm in D.C. We're facing similar heat wave here that they're calling a heat dome over the next week, and it's going to be 98 degrees, unfortunately, on the 4th of July here. But have you been reading about what's happening in Paris and in these European countries?
No
Britain?
AC?
They don't allow air conditioning, these idiots. I mean, my God, these are the people who say, oh, my God, global warming is coming. Then when it gets warm, they don't have air conditioning.
I saw as like the mayor or some sort of like low-level government said that the United States is partly responsible for their heat wave. And I was like,
I'm not surprised.
I'm not even clicking on that link to find out why that idiot
We're the
thinks
villains,
that.
right? We're the villains.
Of course. Thank you for being with us.
You know, Donald Trump is so powerful, he can change the weather.
Yeah, I wish he could. He'd make it a little cooler here and maybe for D.C. for the 250.
That's what they think.
Take care, Steve. We're happy 4th. We appreciate you.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye. The co-founder for the Committee for Prosperity, host of More Money. If you found, I didn't realize this until I went to D.C. With my son a few years ago, but if you look at a map, did you know that Washington, D.C., it's almost exactly due east from where we are. So we're just living right there on the same parallel as Washington, D.C. I didn't realize that we would be that's similar in, I guess it would be latitude. And latitude is latitude because it's like flatitude because it's bottom. Yeah, that's how and longitude is tall. That's how I pass test, folks. What do you call those pneumatic devices? Is that what it is?
Mnemonic.
Pneumatic is if it were
Air.
in a bank. Okay, anyway. I was talking to Steve Moore. I had banks on the mind. The YouTube poll, should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? We're going to take your text messages when we come back on the text line. Tell us what you want to know or what you want to have happen with the Save America Act. If you don't know what the Save America Act is, let me brief you very quickly. They want election integrity, and they want it through a limitation in large part on mail-in ballot voting. The Supreme Court weighed in on that as the law exists right now. But the Supreme Court also said, hey, legislature, you don't like it? Congress, do something about it. Is the Save America Act important to you? Text us at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797 on the Annie Frey Show text line. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy, weight gain, or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. Injured by a careless driver? We work with the top doctors in St. Louis. We'll help you get the expert medical care you need and the maximum amount of money you deserve. Call 314-777-7777.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust. Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
This administration is always a solution in search of a problem. It is already illegal for undocumented people to participate in our elections. All this bill would do is make it more onerous and create greater barriers to the ballot box. And as you said, everything always comes back to that for this administration. They know that their agenda is unpopular. They know that they haven't kept one promise to the American people. And the only way they can run is to rig the elections, either with, racial gerrymandering of districts, or with passing things like the SAVE Act, which would disenfranchise, women voters, rural voters, military voters, because it would say that a real ID and a state ID are not sufficient forms of identification.
I got to interrupt, because if anybody out there is still listening, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because we're watching this video from MS Now, and Al Sharpton is in there, and all I could think was Al Franken, and I'm like, I don't think that's right.
That's not Al Franken.
And I said to you, I go, Ryan, who is that? And you said Jesse Jackson. No,
it's Al Sharpton.
Which really, on the whole, is rough day for Al Franken. Sharpton. Ayanna Pressley. I don't have a lot of patience for her.
Ayanna Pressley makes a really good point there about Republicans hating racial gerrymandering, because we stopped it.
I'm going to be honest. I played that clip because I thought it would lead into this discussion we're having about the Save America Act, but I couldn't stand listening to her so much that I don't even know what she said.
Well, you didn't even play the whole clip.
I
You
couldn't
stopped it
handle
before the end.
I got distracted by Al Franken-Sharpton, and then her voice was so unpleasant to me that I was like, I don't want to listen to this. Then I'm like, wait a second, I'm in control of that.
She makes several points in that thing, but the one that I really latched onto was Republicans love racial gerrymandering. It's like, that's literally the exact opposite of what just happened. Republicans ended racial-based gerrymandering. Or you could say the courts did, but it was a Republican-led
Or you could say the Constitution did.
Yeah.
The YouTube poll for today is, should Congress prioritize the passing of the Save America Act? Your three options on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Yes, above all else, prioritize that sucker. No, they shouldn't prioritize it, but you do support it. Or no, they shouldn't pass it, prioritize passing it, and you don't support it. You got any texts over there on the Annie Frey Show text line 314-241-9797? Ryan?
Whole bunch. Here we go. The first one says Save America Act is very, very important. I think that's a yes. The next one says, yes, please pass it. If you don't want it passed, then you're part of the problem.
Ooh.
That's from BB. The next one says, Scott here. Yes, please prioritize the Save America Act.
Hi, Scott.
Are you seeing a trend here? Next one, absolutely yes for the Save America Act. Next one, 100,000%.
And they're all Senator Mike Lee. Hi,
Thanks for listening, Senator.
I'm Scott Leesburg.
All these texts are from Scott Cheeseburg.
This is Lee Michelson.
Let's keep sending us your text, 314-241-9797. But I'd like to ask you guys your thoughts on the Save America Act. And the question is not, well, it is actually, I guess, you support it, yes or no. But it's more, would you be willing if government screeches to a halt? Think about what the Democrats have shut government down over. Think about how long the governments stopped government workers, the Democrats stopped government workers from being paid, like TSA, because they wanted to destroy, defund ICE. They got nothing. They got none of what they were looking for. I mean, well, unless you would say Kristi Noem's not there anymore. But when they let go of Kristi Noem, they're like, we don't care about that. And they just kept going. Mark Wayne Mullen comes in, don't care about that. There were multiple things that happened, in Minnesota where Bovino was there, and then they shipped him out and sent him somewhere else, and Homan came in and kind of smoothed things over. Homan got what he wanted, which was cooperation to an extent, so that if people are being detained for criminal action, that ICE could basically acquire those criminals from within the legal confinement system, as opposed to saying, no, you got Minneapolis, they're going, no, we will release these people onto the street before we'll hand them over to you. On the American streets before we'll hand them over to you. Homan's like, but they're criminals and they don't belong in the country. Maybe for the sake of the safety and security of the people of Minneapolis and Minnesota, you should just give them to us. And they're like, no, we stand on our stupid principles and we'll release them into the street. Well, Bovino and Noem were kind of making a circus out of what was going on in Minnesota. And the Trump administration changed gears. There you go, Democrats. You got that. That was a win. They were like, no, we're going to keep going. That has nothing to do with it. So they couldn't, that was the gift horse in the mouth phrase, whatever. They continued to shut government down for something that they got none of. Now, the Republicans have the opportunity here to pass the Save America Act, come hell or high water. And we really want to know if you're for it. Ryan, are you?
Absolutely. This is a no-brainer. Yes, above all else.
Well, then the Democrats should vote for it.
I would say yes above all else, except that I would really like to prioritize something that curtails spending, but I know that I am basically very alone in that.
You're not alone in it.
It's just not a priority.
Not enough.
Not enough. Look, the other thing when I mentioned that too is that I was thinking about this the other day. Democrats, I criticize Republicans for not doing more to stop spending. Democrats are so worthless at it that I don't even think that they're part of the conversation. I want to establish that. It's Republicans that I think might actually get something done, which is why I criticize them. Some text coming in about the SAVE Act, though. This says, the SAVE Act is imperative in saving our constitutional republic. Republicans are one election away from destroying the Democrats. The Democrats are one election away from destroying America. That is from Randy.
Randy, my man.
This next one is from Pierre Delecto. It says, why has Romney left the Senate? That's weird.
Pierre, tell us what you know.
Yeah.
We would like the inside track if you know.
We would like to know. Next one says...
Also, Pierre, the next text you send it in French, so Ryan has to read it.
Je suis.
Oui.
Oui.
Oui, 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 oui.
I think I said, I want. Je suis. I want. All right, next one.
And none of us in here can fact check you. We're like,
No,
okay.
that's what I said.
Knock yourself out.
Why is this even up for debate, says this texter. Why would you want somebody casting a vote who is not an American citizen? What is the
because
argument
they
for
vote
that?
for you. That's why they want it. Because they vote for the Democrats.
Oh my gosh, I think I just figured this out.
I think the texter probably knew the answer to his rhetorical question.
Yes, we're getting a lot of text on this. This next one says, yes, please prioritize the SAVE Act. 7 of 10 Americans want it passed. I did not know that. I'll look that up. The other 3 are just visiting.
And they love America.
Very good.
No, it is a wildly popular issue. However you slice and dice the demographics of it, voter ID, restricted mail-in balloting for people who need it, not who just want it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big one.
TLT says...
How do you pronounce that?
Tilt? Or is it TLT? He's dynamite. Or just a little bit off of that. Says absolutely pass Save America. Naysayers have no real argument, holds no water. And then right afterwards, Dale says regarding the poll, yes, pass over anything else. Last one. Kyle here. Ryan, I'm with you. Cutting spending is my number 1 priority by far.
All right, when we come back, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg with a vocal TNT intro from Ryan Wiggins when the general is on with us.
Oh, heck yeah. We'll see what he thinks about that.
He's going to be like, bomb them too. No, I'm very
Except
curious.
I'm going to do big balls.
Okay. This is very hard for me professionally in a precarious situation here. General Kellogg has been very adamant about keeping force as the leading persuasion for America in Iran, saying Iran's not going to listen. And boy, this weekend we went through the revolving door once again. We're bombing. And I understand that talks are supposed to take place in Qatar here shortly. Okay. Are we on the way to resolving this thing? General Kellogg next. AirComfortService.com is the website. If you have a concern right now with your air conditioner functioning at full capacity, this is definitely a week where you're going to find out if that sucker is running the way it's supposed to, because it's hot out there. Yesterday, the heat index was something like 115 degrees out in O'Fallon, Illinois. I don't know where you were, but if you know that AC isn't working right, it's going to work twice as hard to cool the home when it's not doing the job to try to get that temperature down, and it's going to be really difficult to pull that off with the temperatures that we're facing right now here in the Midwest. You've got a team in your corner at Air Comfort Service. 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Reach out to Air Comfort Service with 57 plus years of experience and knowledge. They are incredible at helping you get back into your comfort zone. I have a new air conditioner, furnace, water heater, all installed in my home by Air Comfort Service over the years. I trust them. They'd be the first people and the only people I'd call back with my next AC issue. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, Sandy. What's that? I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot. What's 4? Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance. See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? That's what we're asking you today. Yes, above all else is the first answer. No, they shouldn't prioritize it, but I support it. Or no, I don't support it. That is the YouTube live chat poll. We're asking you to weigh in, whether it be on YouTube, where you can vote and leave a comment there, or by our text line. You can just let us know what you think, 314-241-9797. Lots of texts. I should read some of them, but there are too many to grab onto right now. 133.
Read one.
Oh, okay.
You want me to text you something?
For the love of God, yes. Please prioritize the Save America Act. There's one.
Thank you for texting us.
133, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Built in the heartland, for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Violence will be met with violence. As you mentioned, Brian, there were attacks on commercial vessels that the United States of America, directed by the president, responded to, and that will continue to happen, but we hope we don't see that. The president obviously wants to see the peace process play out, and the Iranians would be best to sign a good deal with the United States of America because the president has proven he's unafraid to use the might of our military. Look at Operation Midnight Hammer. Look at Operation Epic Fury. Either way, though, the United States of America wins. If the peace process plays, this MOU continues, gas prices will continue to tumble. We're seeing crude is lower than it was prior to the start of this excursion, as the president calls it. Or if Iran chooses to be a bad actor, they'll prove themselves to be the pariah of the Middle East. They've totally alienated themselves from their Gulf and Arab partners in the region. And the United States of America has the best and strongest military in the world. The president retains the right to use it.
So there's Carolyn Leavitt, the White House press secretary, and she says that if this doesn't go the way that the president wants it to go, then Iran will prove themselves to be the pariah of the Middle East. Feels like maybe that's already happened here. I'm really scratching my head in the round and around in circles we go. MOU, trying to get an agreement. I'm really trying to understand what an agreement needs to solidify that we wouldn't actually have to continually maintain and monitor along with our neighbors there in the Middle East after the fact. I mean, I guess the question I have is, do we even really need to have a deal? Because it seems like we're already in control of the situation, and maybe a little more force would actually keep it under control. Let's get to our guest, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, co-chair of American Security at the America First Policy Institute. General, thank you for being with us on the show once again. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Annie. Good to be with you.
Can you explain to me in the simplest of terms, General, why we need to have a deal with Iran? Is there something that a deal is going to get us that our persistent monitoring of the situation, regardless of what deal is achieved, isn't going to handle in and of itself? Why a deal?
Yeah. Well, I think I hate to say this, but we're probably approaching this wrong. One, we keep thinking that kinetic strikes, bombing them, is going to do something to them. They don't care. I mean, this is one of those where we are looking at it differently than they're looking at it. And look, we need to hold this against state. The world as it is, not as it is in the 30s, maybe in 2030, not as it is today. And it's our responsibility to protect Americans and others from the regime's threats. And the end state has to focus on one element. And I think that is Iran's ability to function as a global terrorist apparatus. That means we need to do some changing in our thinking. Look, the Iranian regime in June has proved evidence of what it worries most, that they export violence. And they're going to keep exporting violence as long as you have a theocratic government in charge. Now, the president doesn't want to go there. He's focused on the nuclear side of the house, the enriched uranium, but they don't think like that. You know, they're thinking that, well, they're going to wait this guy out. for the long term. And we keep saying, well, we'll bump them back to the dark ages, the Stone Age. They don't care. They really don't. I mean, they've got a strategy that is intended to wait us out as it goes to the future. And their neighbors think that they're already a pariah state. But the attacks on a Bahrain or Kuwait, they're already attacking their neighbors. They know they're not friends in the neighborhood, and they're going to keep doing this. And so I think we need to have probably a little bit of change in our strategy. Do you need an agreement to do it? I don't. I think the agreement isn't worth anything, especially with these guys. They're going to sign an agreement, whatever it's going to be, and they're going to violate it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but 3 to 5 years. And Americans are going to be at risk even more than the future. So it's a little bit more convoluted than just having a peace agreement after 60 days of memorandum. Mm-hmm. We need to probably think our way. What do these guys need to do differently? And we talk about what it means is as long as you've got people who are radical fundamentalists in charge, they're going to go back and do what they're doing. So it's not so much an agreement as I really think you kind of need to kind of change them out. Now, the president, that's not how the president's thinking. Look what he did in Venezuela when he took out Maduro and he kept Delcy Rodriguez in power. He hesitates to go there. But I think if you're going to start a war and you're going to be involved in a war, then you need to finish the war. And that leads to certain conditions on the ground, which means we eradicate that government and put a government in charge that's more agreeable to their neighbors and us as well.
We're speaking with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, co-chair of American Security at America First Policy Institute. Something else that I don't understand, sitting in here in the Midwest and just reading the coverage, watching the coverage that's going on, I've heard the president say that we from space can monitor the situation where the nuclear dust is residing, buried under a mountain, that we can, read the name tags of the people who are walking around any facility, and we have a very precise understanding, very strong visuals of what is taking place there on the ground in Iran. Why are they still able to shoot missiles at people? Why is it that if we have that much knowledge, that much capability, why does Iran still have the ability to shoot at a boat in the Strait of Hormuz, to shoot at Kuwait, to shoot at any of these people, like Saudi Arabia, that's apparently worried that they're going to shoot something into a salination area? Why can't we take that out?
Well, number one is what you correctly mentioned is our technical ability to see what they do on the ground is exquisite. We really do have that. But the second part of that is the will to complete the action that you've got on the ground. And I think we have to go in there and basically, like with IAEA and ourselves, is actually go and remove the enriched uranium they have on the ground, which will be used eventually to make a nuclear weapon, because we know that's where they're headed to. We know that from their past history. And the trouble is, Annie, once you get a nuclear weapon or develop a nuclear weapon, you either develop it or buy it. Then you treat them a lot differently. And they're kind of like feeling their oats out there. Rachi, their foreign minister, said, we're going to control the Gulf. Well, they can't control. We can't let them control the Gulf. That's 1/5 of the world's oil supply goes through there. It doesn't come to us, but it goes to the rest of the world. And as long as they have control of the Gulf, and the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to have a problem with them. So it depends on, what you do. It's easy to see the action. Now you have to have the will to do it. I know it's hard. I've got that. I know the president's concerned about it. But I really do believe that once you get into a gunfight, you finish the gunfight. And that we're there right now. I mean, you may wish it away and hoped it hadn't happened, but it did happen. And now we're involved in it. And walk away now, I think, just gives us major problems down the road, 5 years, 6 years down the road, and it's going to put the American people at risk, and I don't think we can afford that. That's a very harsh assessment. I know it, but I didn't start the war. I didn't get involved in the war. But once you're there, you got to figure a way to close it out.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a phrase used all over the place, but in the media industry, we always talk about being half pregnant. You can't do it. You either are or you aren't. And now that we are, it's time to see the thing all the way through. We're speaking with General Kellogg here on the Annie Frey Show. Before I let you go, you've advised the president on a whole host of issues. If you were in the room right now, what would you tell the president? This is the next move that you need to make.
Yeah, if I was in there, I've said this on the airwaves because hopefully it gets to him. Look, I can be a hardliner on this side. Now, they talk about boots on the ground. Well, you can do strategic targeting And you can do two things. You don't have to march to Tehran. You don't have to put the 18th Airborne Corps on the ground in Iran. But you could take Karg Island, which controls 90% of their export capability, and seize the islands in the Gulf, in the Strait of Hormuz, Larak Island and the rest of them, and then control strategically the Strait of Hormuz. You are probably going to still get some drone attacks and some ballistic missile attacks. But that's part of the game, and you're going to have to absorb that, and we'll counter it. That doesn't mean a full-scale invasion of Iran, because people forget how big Iran is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the size of Spain, the UK, Germany, France combined. It's a huge country. But I think you have to do something that changes the dynamic. And pure kinetics isn't going to do it. The use of force is to enforce economic reasons to do it. Now, I think the American people would support that because it gives them an end state they're looking at. More of the same, endless war. We haven't really come to a conclusion. They get, as you said, being half pregnant, you kind of feel when they do it a little bit bad about it. Just finish the job that you got. We started, let's finish it off. I mean, and I say that, and who knows what's going to happen at the end of 60 days. It's an aggressive approach, but it finishes what we set out to do.
Yeah. Well, you've been incredibly consistent on your perspective here on our show, and the many times I've seen you on Fox and other places reacting to this. And every time you speak about it, it seems more and more on point as the direction that I think a lot of our listeners certainly hope that it will go as well. We always appreciate your time here. Happy 4th of July to you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for helping be a big part of ensuring freedom for so many Americans. We honor you in that, and we're grateful that you spent some of your time here with us on our show.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, co-chair of American Security at America First Policy Institute, former assistant to the President of the United States and special presidential envoy for Ukraine. We'll break here. We're asking you on the YouTube poll and on the Annie Frey Show text line, should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? Yes, above all else. No, they shouldn't prioritize it, but you do support it. Or no, they shouldn't prioritize it, and I don't support it at all. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. If you go to the YouTube channel or your YouTube app or wherever you see YouTube, type in Annie Frey, Frey, and you'll find the live chat right there on the live broadcast. The poll is located there. But we love your texts, 314-241-9797 on the Annie Frey Show text line. We'll be right back.
America is that shining city on the hill, such an unprecedented beacon of freedom for the world. People risk their lives to get here, and it's worth celebrating America.
America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out, not for everyone, because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your gut.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder, but our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I would say quite an overwhelming response right now on the YouTube poll reacting to this question. Should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? Yes, above all else. No, but you do support the Save America Act, or no, you don't support it. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. Come subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to connect with us and stay connected with us no matter where we go, you follow us and subscribe to the Annie Frey Show YouTube channel. We'll be there for you. Some text messages on the Annie Frey Show text line at 314-241-9797. You got anything over there?
Okay, a couple first that just say this. Pass the freaking Voter Rights Act. Yes, yes, yes. Then the next one says, for the love of God, yes. Please prioritize the Save America Act.
Mm-hmm.
Then, how about this one? A little bit of longer text here. I'm going to read the whole thing. It says, listening on the app per usual. Your listening audience is a bit confused. So your argument is that while controlling the House and the Senate and the executive branch and the judicial branch, that elections were somehow still rigged and Republicans should have won by even more. This is your actual legitimate stance. You're smarter than that, Annie.
Any name? Area code?
No name.
I want to call him something.
Is
there an area code?
Frambert.
It's not Mike Lee. I know that. It's Chuck Schumer. Okay, listen up. No, that's not my actual argument, because that's a stupid argument. Especially like the point made that the Republicans, are you going to really make the assertion that the Republicans control the judicial branch when Trump just got beat 2-1 in Supreme Court rulings today on this very issue? Okay, like let's just step back for a second here. And first of all, I would assume, Mr. Texter, thank you for listening on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download it and listen to us everywhere you go.
Frambert, Frambert.
On the Odyssey app.
On the Odyssey app.
Odyssey app. What was my point?
Sorry, I Framberted you.
You did. No, I know exactly what I'm saying here. I don't think that this is necessarily a Democrat. I think this is a Thomas Massie Republican.
Okay.
Because Thomas Massie came out and said exactly this. And if you rewind on the Odyssey app to an earlier part of the show, you'll hear that I said this. Thomas Massie said, I'll vote in favor of it, but it's weird to be voting in favor of something where Republicans are talking about election fraud when they own all of the branches of government. And when I say branch, the legislative being made up of the bicameral Congress in the Senate and the House, the executive branch of government with President Trump. The judicial branch is not owned by the Republicans. In fact, I think Donald Trump is probably throwing a fit right now that the Republicans that he put on the Supreme Court didn't vote in favor of who? Donald Trump. Very bad. Very bad. in Trump's back pocket Republicans on the bench there. So no, I reject your premise that there is a situation in our American government right now where Republicans own everything. And just the fact that the Republicans are in control has absolutely no bearing on the actual will of the American people and the ability in prior administrations for the Democrats to tweak the rules, to move the goalposts so that they could insulate and protect their majorities, their racially driven, gerrymandered seats that go into the House of Representatives. There are a whole host of ways that Democrats have changed the way we vote, changed the way we elect people, and they all benefit the Democrats. We've changed these things. We've imported voters. We have our net import of people into this country where it was the policy point of people in the Democratic primary going into the 2020 election where they were all standing on the stage and they were all like, come to America. There's a huge, I can't remember for the life of me right now off the top of my head who was making this point because it's such an important point to make right now. When you look at what people, disabled people or maybe retired people, older people qualify 60 to 65, 67, whatever the age is for any particular person drawing on Social Security. When you look at what they're drawing on Social Security right now, what those individuals who have spent forever paying into the Social Security system, not money that they invested in their 401k. They couldn't. They don't have the option. It goes into Social Security to pay for the people who are using that dollar. That dollar like winks at an account on the way by to leave the government and go into somebody else's checking account so that they can afford groceries, because it was a promise that was made to these people that Social Security would be there to support them and sustain them. They paid into it. They should take out of it. The problem is that I'm paying into it right now, and that money is being immediately taken out of the system faster than it's being deposited to help the people who need it right now. I understand the need for Social Security. I understand that it's a promise that was made that apparently they don't really care enough to keep with true integrity. But if you look at what the people who have paid into Social Security are taking out of Social Security right now, compare that number to what an illegal immigrant coming into our country, drawing on the taxpayer dollars in the state of Illinois specifically. Do you know what these people can get by way of education support to go to college in Illinois? When you add up all the dollars that are being taken out of our system to help people who can't even be bothered to come here and go about it in a completely legal way, and you compare it to the 79-year-old person who's drawing on Social Security and taking what little that she gets out of the system, even though she spent an entire career, probably worked too long, maybe waiting tables, physical labor, something she's taking out of a system she paid into, and it's barely enough. Do we have a problem with that system? So to suggest that we would flood people into the country, Mr. Frambert, I'm sorry, I apologize. To suggest that because Republicans have squeaked a majority out in the House, have squeaked a majority out of the Senate, that Donald Trump on election number 3 could outwork and still win with what I would say is a pretty strong mandate, all things considered, that we should just sit back and be like, well, Republicans can still win in this environment. Look what we had to go through in order to get here. I don't understand how, what if we implemented all of these things and Democrats ended up winning? Are you telling me that Democrats can't win if people show their ID to say I'm a legal voter? Why is it that Democrats can't win in that circumstance? Why is it that Democrats can't win if people say, yeah, if you can't make it to the polls, you can mail your ballot in. But if you can make it to the polls, you're going to go to the polls. Why is it in that circumstance that Democrats can't win? I think they can. So no, I don't. I'm sorry to Mr. Frambert that you, I actually just had higher expectations for the thinking capacity of those people listening out there on the Odyssey app where we are located 24/7, crystal clear connection. You understand what you're saying, don't you? You're smart enough to understand that that's not a rational argument against the Save America Act. I know you are because you're listening to this station and this show, and we are happy to have you, Mr. Frambert. We'll be right back. Stewart's American Mortgage. Bagels, bagel loan. Bagels look like a zero. That means that you remember the zero connected to the Stewart's American Mortgage bagel loan. No closing costs. The end of June is when this offer expires. So I'm about to tell you about something that basically, if you're interested in this, you need to text Stewie immediately. Call Stewie immediately to make sure you get in before this incredible opportunity on a new home purchase, 30-year loan, before it expires. So I'm going to give you the number right now. I'm going to tell you what the deal is, and then I'll give you the number again. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. For people looking to purchase a new home, and you're getting a new 30-year loan, if you reach out to Stewie, and I mean it right now at 314-324-4440, you can lock in a 1% discount on your interest rate for the first year. But it expires at the end of June. So call. 314-324-4440 or text 314-324-4440 and ask about this opportunity for a 1% discount on an interest rate for the first year. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
If you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peter's did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
And misery. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A top lawmaker in Venezuela just announcing more than 1,700 deaths in last week's double earthquakes, though survivors have also been found, with U.S. search teams saving a father and son yesterday.
That hope is dwindling, but it's still there as the rescue operations remain active.
Fox's Nate Foy in La Guardia, a hard-hit area also hit by an aftershock. More than 100 U.S. Marines working to help reopen a port to aid rescue and relief teams delivering supplies.
The State Department also announced today that they are increasing the financial commitment in humanitarian aid to $300 million. A U.S. team is also helping expand operations at the international airport so that they can get supplies to the most critical areas.
In addition to more deaths, an official says more than 5,000 are injured, more than 15,000 homeless. The U.S. and Iran pausing strikes after trading fire in recent days over drone attacks on commercial ships.
The goal here for the Trump administration in the short term remains on keeping the Strait of Hormuz open and safe. But this week, those more detailed discussions on Iran's nuclear program will proceed.
Fox's Trey Yinks. The White House says parallel talks will happen tomorrow in Qatar. Iran's foreign ministry denies any additional talks with the U.S. A new trial date is set for the man charged in the shooting death of a healthcare executive.
Opening statements have been set for January 25th in Luigi Mangioni's federal trial. He is accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel in December 2024. Judge Margaret Garnett said she had hoped to hold the trial this fall, but Mangioni's New York State trial, set to start on September 8th, makes that, quote, impossible.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. A retrial now set for April in the case against former South Carolina attorney Alec Murdaugh, whose convictions for killing his wife and son were overturned. The judge has not made a decision on a defense motion for a change of venue. America is listening to Fox News.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out, not for everyone. Because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's our holiday weekend. Lots of sunshine this afternoon. It's hot. It's steamy. 95 degrees. Tonight, clear, warm, and humid. 77. That's it for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny, hot, and humid. 98 degrees. Keep that going. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll add just a chance, tiny little chance of a pop thunderstorm for 4th of July. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins.
Were you able to listen to General Kellogg there in the first hour? It's on the.
I heard the beginning of it
on the podcast.
I walked away,
and I encourage you to go back and listen to what he says. That man has been very consistent on this show and everywhere else he goes, as if he would come on the Annie Frey Show and say one thing and go on Fox News and say another. Not what General Kellogg's going to do. But I do have this question regarding the conflict in Iran, the war in Iran. Or what are we calling it? Should we determine right now what we want to call it? Is it a war? It's a war.
Tryst.
A tryst. A lover's tryst.
Not lovers.
No, lover.
Oh, lovers tryst?
Yeah. Not a hearty.
I guess we're getting there, but
I believe that it's a war, and I feel like the president's like, don't call it a war, then we don't have to concern Congress. Right. And I'm like, I don't know if it's really that simple to just be like, just don't say the word out loud. And then it's the magic word of the day, and the bird falls out of the ceiling and is like, war! And then the horns and the clapping and the confetti goes off, and now it's illegal.
Play the Pee Wee Herman song.
Anyway, word of the day. I have a real honest question. Why do we need an agreement? You know the phrase.
I don't know.
You know the phrase. You don't negotiate with terrorists.
I do.
This is maybe the most appropriate time for that.
Yeah.
Like, just don't.
Well, I think they're looking for something that will last maybe a month, because the longer they can just get them to not shoot missiles, they're like, hey, that's a win for us. They didn't shoot missiles for a month and a half. Huge win. I don't think they expect anything out of this agreement because they know they'll have to enforce it.
Didn't they shoot missiles for a month and a half? I mean, I don't feel like we've been in any long period state of calm.
Well, we're not in an agreement with them. We have a meow, but we don't have a real signed agreement.
And the meow is the MOU.
The MOU.
Yes.
Memorandum of Understanding.
Info Dude comments, that's it, Annie. It's an international disagreement, also known as a tryst.
It's a memorandum of misunderstanding.
Every once in a while, I get these ideas in my head of things that Ryan could do that would be funny. And the great thing is that I'll text Ryan. I'll be like, hey, can you record? And then I'll just create some ridiculous scenario. But I only give him like 12 words of suggestion to go to. And he's like, yep, I'm on it. He just, like, what if you created like a, what do you call those? Not a novella. Like the radio soap operas from back in the day?
Yeah.
But just
a radio drama.
Okay. It's not a war, though. I want you to create like a 30-second overly sensationalized emotional depiction of what this tryst is really about.
We have something similar.
Oh, what was the?
Oh yeah.
Was that the Supreme Court? Was that the Kavanaugh hearings?
No. It was the.
We've been here before.
It was the impeachment. Remember?
Yes. Impeaches and cream.
Impeaches and cream. And it was kind of like that.
Do you have the stuff?
I'll look it up.
I think I have it here.
Oh yeah, you can find it probably faster.
This is a perfect example of one of us going, "What if?" And then there are times where Ryan will do this, and then I don't know if you just never tell me that you did it, or if you do it and I tell you no immediately, but every once in a while you'll be like, about 2 years ago, I created this thing and we never used it.
Yeah, that'll happen every now and then.
Oh my gosh. Do you have it?
Impeaches and cream.
I've got a bed.
Yeah, it's a music bed. Yeah,
Yep.
let's just this was what we put together because we got so sick. This is what happens when we get tired of the story. We're like, wrap it up already.
We're there with this one.
I know. I don't know. I didn't take the impeachment seriously, and really neither did the government.
Here,
I don't
can
know
you
about,
turn my audio on too, Brad, just in case?
I don't know about doing this for a war conflict.
Let me see. Is this it? What we were talking about?
No, I don't think that's it.
Let me see.
Yep.
Smell that right now.
Let me make sure real quick here.
Jerk.
He turned me off.
I got you, Annie. I think I have it right here. Let me see if this will play.
This is great.
And now, it's time for America's favorite soap opera, Impeaches and Cream.
And then
we'd play an
we'd
audio
play
bit
some
right there.
audio over some dramatic whining and moaning on the house floor while...
Oh, and we had him going, ooh.
Yeah, the emotive reactions.
Stuff like that. I don't know if we have those.
Oh, man. I do have that somewhere.
And we had like 3 or 4 of them, and he'd go, spicy, or something like that.
Spicy. I'm going to type that in there.
Ooh. I don't know how you type that in, though.
What year was that?
So that was the end of 2019.
Yeah,
into 2020.
Were we doing that during COVID, I think?
No, because the impeachment stuff had ended by COVID because they didn't care anymore. They thought, oh, this is a new issue. Let's do that instead. Let's do COVID.
Okay, we can turn off the organ.
It's like, I got 3 minutes of this stuff.
Yeah, it's because we were trying to cover the issues with get credit for trying.
Yeah.
Like we're trying so hard. Impeachment was annoying to people. Everybody had decided he should be impeached or he shouldn't be impeached. And of all of those people who had made a determination, probably 20% understood that impeachment was just a collective agreement that we're charging him with unbecoming behavior. And then it had to go to the Senate and they had to get a supermajority, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, like 50% of the country thought, we'll get rid of him now. Like,
no,
that's not what this is.
Do you remember when Mike Pence was trending on Twitter? Because after he got impeached, everybody was freaking out. They're like, wait a second, he was impeached? Mike Pence is the president now? And it's like, a couple things. A few points of order here. No, first and foremost, he's just been impeached. He has not been removed from office. It's like getting charged and having to go to trial. When you are charged, you are still innocent until proven guilty. And that's the same sort of political ramifications where your case is being heard in front of Congress, not in a court of law. That he was impeached, which means he was officially charged, and then the Senate would go through the hearing, which they did. And I remember from covering that we did, there was like a 17-minute montage that the lawyers that defended Trump put together of the Democrats going, fight like hell, over and over and over again. And that wasn't from the perfect phone call. That was the impeachment of President Trump inciting How would Chuck Schumer say it? An erection.
Yes, inciting an erection.
Maybe Chuck Schumer, when he's done in the Senate, can do some commercials on 97.1 about ED.
I'd love that.
Wouldn't it be so funny if Chuck Schumer's fallback job, what he has to do is do erectile dysfunction ads solved by Donald Trump? I would actually. This is all starting to make a lot more sense.
Wait a minute. Explain to me because I'm a little slow
Chuck
here.
Schumer.
How did Donald Trump solve it?
Well, if he's inciting erections.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I didn't quite connect.
I'm going to type in Schumer in that word that I just said in my Google Drive thing and be very selective as to how I play this. Yeah, this is. I don't want the drop. I want the actual clip here. This is.
There will be a trial, and when that trial ends, senators will have to decide if they believe Donald John Trump incited the insurrection.
Maybe I understand why the Democrats can't quit him right now.
Listen, there comes a time in every young senator's life where they're going to deal with this issue. And it's something that they need the head of the Senate to sit down with them and talk through.
Did you say a young senator's life?
Yes.
Because this sounds like an old senator's problem.
You're right.
It caught him off guard.
Hey, it happens to everybody.
Yeah, look, this is just part of life.
Oh, man. There was, I can't say it on the air, but I took a video of this. I was sitting in my living room, and I sent it to the three of you boys.
Yeah.
And Jesse Waters was having some former Navy SEAL, I think, on to talk about the Iran situation. And this guy just looks like a Navy SEAL. And he's talking about how Trump isn't sitting there watching the clock. And then he said, the people in Iran aren't sitting there watching the clock. But he didn't say clock. But he said it as clear as day on a live broadcast on Jesse Waters primetime.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to watch him push through that
Try
sucker.
to recover.
Because, and Jesse Waters was not on the screen. And I felt bad for this guy. I have the video, but it's just a video of me in my living room recording my television. I don't actually have the video of the clip. And I was like all over Twitter because I think I was watching it, maybe DVR, because that's a show I usually watch. And he had said he was watching the clock. But that's not what he said. And it was amazing to watch him push through it because I was like, I know what it feels like. I've said some dumb things because I screwed up the order of letters and words and stuff on this show. We have the luxury of most of the time playing it off, except for when I kept doing it in advertisements.
Over and over.
That was I had a bad week.
That was really close together.
No, it was back-to-back weeks.
Okay.
It was terrible. But watching them try to push through that, if you're in broadcasting and you can't, Jesse Waters, they can't acknowledge it. They're in too much of a professional situation.
Yeah. And they're talking about an issue that's not
it's
funny.
Super serious. If it had happened on Gutfeld, first of all, that's tape recorded. They would have gone in on that for sure.
Oh, heck yeah.
But if you're on a primetime literally show, or if you're the Senate at the time majority leader, I think Chuck Schumer, and you say that, if you get into the Senate, Ryan, and you slip up like that, there's a lot of ifs in here that make this almost impossible to
if I
think
get
out.
into the Senate first, being the first one.
I'm trying to imagine, like, how would you, in your stuffy suit, Senator Wiggins, handle saying inciting not
I'd be more of a Fetterman, you know that.
hoodies. Should Schumer have giggled when he said that, or he just goes insurrection right after he says the other word?
I think they should giggle a lot more in general. I would giggle every time I reference the Speaker of the House's last name. Mike Johnson.
We should go to break. We should be better than that, especially today.
You all giggled.
Well, we're not in the Senate or the House. We're not
like,
refined.
Speaker Johnson.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like big eyebrows. Hey, yeah.
Like I said, a lot of ifs in that sentence. We'll be right back.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, Sandy. What's that?
I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot.
What's 4?
Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Take your lawn from good to great with my friends at Lawn Enforcement. I'm talking expert lawn care services to keep your lawn in order. And here's what they'll do for you. Anybody can mow your grass. At Lawn Enforcement, they want to enhance your property. They'll do the mowing and the trimming. They'll fertilize and implement a weed control program and erosion control, which includes retaining walls if you need it. They can landscape. They can design and install your flowers, your shrubs, your trees, all of your hardscapes. No project is too big or too small for my friends at Lawn Enforcement. You can check them out online at yourlawnenforcement.com. So instead of envying your neighbor's lawn, your neighbors are going to be wishing they had the lawn and landscape that you have. Go ahead and enjoy your space. Be proud when you entertain your friends and your family. They've been in business for over 30 years. Be sure and tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to yourlawnenforcement.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. This segment of The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by All Financial.
Hold up.
Check it out. Sports and local.
Balls and You, a sports update from Ethan Hannaford.
All right.
Straightforward. Love it.
Yeah. For
Ethan,
once.
how was your weekend?
My weekend was both good and bad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Great time.
Yeah, thank you for telling us. How about sports and local?
Great shot.
Hey, that's my job.
Great time.
Let's keep it clear here.
At the lake, but I'm getting old. I'm getting old, guys. I really hurt my back and neck tubing.
What? Oh, well, at least, no, you're not. You're not getting old when you hurt your back tubing. You getting old when you hurt your back getting out of bed.
We're talking about
I'm not
tubing like in a
senior
lake.
citizen old like you people.
Okay.
Gosh.
Yes,
All
I know.
right.
We get in
Kid
our
gloves
40s
off.
and it all starts to fall apart.
Tubing like Jeffrey?
You need a Chuck Schumer
I don't know what that means.
help in inciting insurrections or something.
I'm going to stop.
So I've heard. What were you saying?
My microphone keeps falling down.
Sports and local? Yeah, this
Sports.
place.
Well, you're getting old.
This place needs some changes around here.
Can we get an engineer in here? We've got a little bit of an impotent problem.
Can we? It's with Ethan.
It's okay. It happens to every radio station.
Never happens to Sue on that same mic. It's weird.
Have you seen her? Sue, I love you so much.
We love you, Sue.
The St. Louis Cardinals ended a 4-game losing streak yesterday.
Ugh.
Did you have something to say?
I have a lot to say. Very little that I should.
Do you want me to keep talking?
Keep it on the tracks, Ethan.
I'm going to keep talking. Brian Torres hit a 2-run homer to back Kyle Leahy's solid start for the Redbirds. Did not allow a hit through the first 4 innings of the game and only gave up 1 run in 5 innings. Final score was 2-1. That 2-run home run from Torres was the only offense that the Cardinals could come up with. And it's been pretty quiet on the offensive side for them lately. That has been the big issue here the past, I would say, couple weeks or so. Alec Burleson's 25-game on-base streak came to an end, and Ivan Herrera's 22-game run was also stopped. So the Cardinals able to salvage a game against the Miami Marlins, who are exceeding some expectations this season as well. The Cardinals now 43-38 on the season. They have the day off, and then they will be traveling to Atlanta to face off against the Braves in a 3-game series, and it's going to get a little bit challenging here once we hit July. The schedule's going to get tough. The Braves have been very good. You got the Cubs for the 4th of July weekend. Then you have a 5-game series against the Brewers, and then the Braves are in town again, and that will lead up to the All-Star break. So it's going to be an interesting trek here to see how the Cardinals respond after dealing with a little bit of adversity after what has been a little bit of a tough stretch for them.
When you get into a stretch like this, you really just got to keep your head down. Just
keep
play
your head down?
some baseball.
Focus on the fundamentals.
Yeah, focus on the fundamentals.
What kind of fundamentals?
Pitching, catching,
throwing,
keeping your hands back,
hitting, fielding,
keeping your elbow up.
Elbow up.
Yep.
In the dugout.
Yep. That's what John Mabry used to say. Keep those elbows up.
John Mabry.
Hitters.
Bernard Gilkey having a coffee right now going, what the hell?
He did tell me that.
See? I'm just a reporter.
Thank you. We appreciate your reports.
You're not a reporter.
Technically, I'm not.
Anybody who reports things, though.
Technically, I do Wiggins America Monday Roundup, and that is a report of a type.
Did you guys...
Great reference. Nice resume.
To remain Cardinals affiliated, did you guys see the latest news involving John Mozeliak?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Former Cardinals president of baseball operation John Mozeliak is returning to an MLB front office. He is taking over as the interim general manager of the Los Angeles Angels, following the firing of Perry Menashen. The Angels announced on Friday that Mo had been appointed to baseball operations consultant and will be serving as the interim GM after Menashen was relieved of his duties. He will be overseeing the club's day-to-day baseball operations while helping with the search of a permanent general manager. So I believe that this will take him through December 1st. When asked over the weekend if this would be a long-term, role, he said he wasn't ruling it out potentially, but he did say that, the primary goal is to find the permanent guy for the job.
The reaction that I saw to this says his first order of business is signing Matt Carpenter to a lifetime contract.
I saw a great quote where he basically said to the Angels fans, "We need to be patient." That's basically what it was. And I was like, oh, God. Oh.
Okay.
But
patient with the new GM?
Just to put it into, they are like one of the worst ran organizations in baseball. They are in a very bad spot right now. And the funny part is that a lot of Angels fans are very excited. Hey, former Cardinals executive coming in here trying to fix things. And it's just so funny.
Ooh, which one? Oh.
Because they're all excited about him being here. And they've been encouraged by some of his comments. And we're all over here like,
sometimes when you have that new type of fresh blood coming in, it looks really exciting because of what you're comparing it to, what you've been existing in before that.
Yeah.
You get new fresh blood in and you go, we'll give it a try.
What if Mozeliak signs Perry Menashen with a big mustache accidentally?
Mary Panashen?
Terry Pernurshire.
It would not surprise me if he helped get things in a better spot for that organization. Like I said, they can only go up at this point. They're in a really tough spot. So here's to hoping that Mo is able to help out the Los Angeles Angels. It was a very big weekend for the St. Louis Blues. The NHL draft went on, or the first round began on Friday night and into the later rounds on Saturday. And the Blues were very active in the opening round.
They score any goals?
They didn't not score. Well, it depends.
That's management.
Depends. Would you say physical or metaphorical?
It's really up to you, Ethan.
Well, it's the offseason, so you can't score physical goals. So, I would say they scored some metaphorical goals. The Blues had 4 first-round picks going
goals.
into – these were at literal draft picks. They weren't metaphorical draft picks. They had 4 literal draft picks in the
I want to make sure you people keep things straight.
And
who could they have metaphorically signed?
Keith Kachuk.
That would have been a great metaphorical.
Hey, Ryan, will you just sit out for like 3 minutes? Unplug.
Let's just rewind.
Reboot.
Go ahead.
Ethan?
Got it. That's where I go. The Blues with the number 11 pick selected forward Tynan Lawrence from Boston University. That was one of their that was their top selection of the night. And then they had 3 more picks up to that point. They traded 2 of them for a forward from the Anaheim Ducks, Mason McTavish, who is a former 3rd overall pick. And has had some success at the NHL level. Will be a little bit of a project as far as correcting some of the issues that he has had that have kind of prevented him from taking that next step in his career. But he's only 23 years old. This is a guy that will fit in on the middle 6 lines for the Blues. So a lot of people are excited about this. The Blues ended up selecting one more guy later in the round with 16th overall. And then in the 3rd round, the Blues didn't have any picks in the 2nd round, but they had a bunch of picks in the 3rd through 6th rounds. They traded 2 more 3rd round picks and got a defenseman from Toronto in Brandon Carlo, so he will fit into the starting lineup on opening night, assuming he is healthy and everything. So very active weekend for the St. Louis Blues. They got better for both the short term and the long term. I think that Doug Armstrong went out on a very high note. Army's last day as the general manager of the Blues is tomorrow. Alexander Steen, the former fan favorite, will be taking over as the general manager. Armstrong will remain the president of hockey operations, but he won't be involved in the day-to-day hockey operations from a roster perspective and being in charge of that.
You bullish on the Blues?
I'm feeling good about where they're at. I'm feeling very good about where they're at. I don't think they're going to be a cup contender this year, but they continue to take steps in the right direction. I think they're going to take another one next year.
Cardinals make the playoffs in any capacity?
We'll see.
Yes! Predict now!
No.
Okay. All right.
He's making a lot of predictions about the short term and the long term. What about the midterms?
Republicans in 3.
I'll stay quiet on that one.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. Civia Law on both sides of the river, Missouri. You can connect with Civia Law, an estate planning and elder law attorney in Wentzville and Creve Coeur. Civia Law in Illinois, in Edwardsville. It's a location that my husband and I went to. East Alton, Swansea, and a little bit further east and southeast, Centralia and Mount Vernon as well. You can trust the attorneys at Civia Law. Todd Civia is incredible. He worked with my husband and me as we established our trust for our family. 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. You be one of the first 10 callers right now to Civia Law that mentions Annie. You schedule your appointment at your convenience whenever you can meet with him, and they've got a spot open for you. If you mention Annie when you call 833-995-WILL, that first appointment, it's free. So you get to sit down with an incredibly accomplished and thorough estate planning and elder law attorney and get that process started. They have a 2-week turnaround of completed documents from that initial sit-down appointment, so this doesn't have to be drawn out forever. Get it done, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore with the experts at Civia Law. 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. Mention Annie and be one of the first 10 to call right now to schedule that appointment and get that strategy session free. CiviaLaw.com.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Locke. Podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy, weight gain, or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Gentlemen, Mark Cox here. When's the last time you actually felt like yourself? Victory Men's Health specializes in hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, and longevity. It's built for everyday men who just want to feel better and perform their best. They already have offices in Town and Country, Sunset Hills, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. They're about to open a new location in Glen Carbon very soon. It's a higher standard of care just waiting for you. Learn more at victorymenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? We are asking you to weigh in on this. The answers are yes, above all else. No, it shouldn't be the priority, but I support it. Or no, I don't support it. I'm going to read one text here. It says, by all means, pass the Save America Act. 100,000%. That's a lot of percent. It is.
You're good at math? How'd you come into communications?
I guess you could say I majored in math. You could say that, but it's false. 234. Really? This time check is sponsored. I got the numbers right on that. By Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Happy birthday, America, in 2026. Get used to hearing the word semi-quincentennial. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical.
The president is in the White House. He was just speaking with Lee Zeldin over his shoulder. Something about, I was trying to read the closed captions in the last segment, and there's something about aftermarket parts. They're trying to ensure that you don't get crappy aftermarket parts when it comes to replacing things on your vehicle, among other things. But the press did end up talking to him and is currently talking to him about
generational talent
we got a lot going on here. Indiana lady. About the Supreme Court rulings today. And I want to listen in here to the White House as the press asks the president to react to those Supreme Court rulings from today.
After today's ruling. Well, because of the mail-in ballot ruling, which was a little bit surprising, gives people more time to vote illegally, let's say. But the SAVE Act is even more important, and that's the right. You have to be a citizen of our country. Okay, you have to show you're a citizen of our country, called citizenship. Voter ID by photo voter ID, and no mail-in ballots unless you're in the military, disabled, you're ill, or you're away, or even on a vacation. We're being very open about it. It's pretty easy. And we'll have honest elections. But the ruling, which a lot of people were waiting for, that was a ruling that was, I think it was very detrimental to honest elections. but it is what it is. Basically, they're keeping it a little bit the way it is now. They may have a little bit of a restriction on based on the wording.
About firing the parliamentarian.
And then you have the very important one, the Slaughter case, which we'll talk about if you ask that question. But the parliamentarian, what were you asking about?
Yeah, have you talked with Thune about?
I have. No, I can't imagine why you'd keep a woman that was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. I cannot understand it. The leader has the right to fire the person at will and put somebody else there. That would be, because we get so many negative rulings from her, the parliamentarian. She's been there for years, and she was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. Harry Reid was a bad guy, and he was the leader, and he put her. And the speaker has the right to immediately fire her and put somebody else there. And it's not even believable that she's still there. She's obviously a good politician or something.
Mr. President, question on the Slaughter case. The Supreme Court just affirmed your right to fire the heads of independent agencies. Should we expect more firings as a result of this ruling?
I don't think so. It gives me the right, and not me, it gives a president the right to do what the president should have the right to do. And it's very interesting. It's a big ruling. It's been going on for almost 100 years. They've been working on this, and you know that it comes down at my term is a very great honor. But it bestows additional powers, or maybe the same power on the president. The president has the right to do this, and that has to do with a lot of agencies all throughout the system. So it's considered, you know, the biggest of the group. And I can understand that this has been going on for almost 100 years. They've been waiting for this decision. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. President. You were posting about how important it is to get the Save America Act passed. Who do you see as the biggest hurdle to getting this across the finish line?
Well, it's held up in the Senate. And frankly, if you terminated the filibuster, you just need 50 votes, and we have 53. And then you have JD. So the Democrats are going to terminate the filibuster. But if you did reconciliation, you could do it with 50 votes. I mean, the best would be to terminate the filibuster, but for some reason. But you have the same basic people. But even Rand Paul is in favor of the Save America Act, if you can believe it. Think of it. Rand Paul is strongly in favor. He's fighting for it. So that's good news. But you would have Lisa Murkowski always against things like this. Nobody knows why. I think I know why. But you have Lisa Murkowski, you have Susan Collins, you have Tillis is against, and he's not in office because of me, so he holds me, you know, because I wouldn't endorse him. I think you have Senator Cassidy against it too.
I think he supports it this time.
And I think you have Mitch McConnell against it too. Mitch McConnell, who's very disloyal to John Thune. You know, John Thune was a very good person for him. I mean, he was a very loyal person, and Mitch McConnell's against him almost all the time because he's angry, I guess, probably at me.
Mr. President?
Yeah, please.
What about Democrats, Mr. President? Are there any you think you could change their minds?
The Democrats should do it too. I mean, you'll probably get one Democrat who's, you know, a common sense Democrat, you know, who that is. And everybody should vote for this. This is the Save America Act. Voter ID with photo, ideally, but voter ID, proof of citizenship, and no mail-in ballots, which is, to my way of thinking, maybe the most important of all because it's so corrupt. But you have exceptions if you're away, exceptions for the military, they're deployed, exception, illness, disability, you have exceptions, strong exceptions. But the cheating on the ballots, the mail-in ballots, Jimmy Carter said it a long time ago. He said you can't have mail-in ballots. He headed up a committee with Scoop Jackson and others, all respected. And he actually, I think it was Jimmy Carter's finest moment. Not doing president, but he headed up a committee and he said he came out with a strong conclusion that if you do mail-in ballots, there's going to be cheating. France gave it up. We're the only country in the world that does this type of mail-in ballot. There's no other country in the world. You know why? They tried it and it was totally dishonest. And it's really dishonest. So we shouldn't do mail-in ballots. So it's not too much to ask for voter ID, proof of citizenship, and no mail-in ballots, and you have honest elections.
What are your plans for the housing bill, Mr. President?
I don't know. I think it's so unimportant by compared to the Save America Act. I think The Save America Act is exactly what it says. It's saving America from crooked elections. And the housing bill is a bill that can get approved. They worked on it long and hard. It's very bipartisan. That means the Democrats like it. I think it's maybe even, it's probably maybe more that way. They're getting things that I wouldn't necessarily agree to. Nobody knows more than housing in the history of the presidency. Nobody did well like me in housing. I made a lot of money. I made a lot of money with housing. But when I look at that bill, it's a bill. But when I look at the Save America Act, it's about saving America. And I'd like to have the Save America Act added on. That's probably not going to happen because we have 4 Republican senators, maybe 5, that just won't vote for it. It's crazy. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. Nobody's done more for Alaska than me. She's Trump deranged. What can I tell you? But those 4 or 5 people that I mentioned should vote. How do you vote against Save America? How do you vote against it? How do you vote against voter identification or proof of citizenship? The only people that would vote against that are people that are going to cheat in an election. The Democrats need it because their policy is so bad. They want open borders. They want high taxes. They want terrible medical, anything medical. I'm the one that did favored nations. I'm reducing drug prices by 200, 300, 400%. Nobody even talks about it. The news doesn't talk about it. The Democrats are opposed to it. If they get into office, they'll put it back. Your drug prices are going to go up by 200, 300, 400, 500%. You know that.
But will you sign that housing bill?
I have not. It hasn't been sent to me yet. It's coming, I understand. And then I'll make it. Here's what I would like to sign. Much more than a bill that, big deal. It's a yawn. Some people say it's wonderful. To me, compared to the Save America Act, just about everything is a big yawn.
So that's the president speaking from the Oval Office right now, surrounded with reporters there, of course, in the room, looking to give themselves the opportunity to get an answer on the record from the president. And he's very deeply committed to the Save America Act. And I find it interesting, too, that he just said there, you know, it may not be not likely that we're going to get it done. And he's calling out by name those Republican senators that would be needed in order to pass the Save America Act in the Senate. When we had Chad Pergram on last week, he was saying, you know, don't sleep on the House here. The House still has to be able to get it through. I've heard, you know, with the likes of Thomas Massey saying that he would vote in favor of it, that I feel as though the House isn't as big of a concern as the Senate. But a lot of pressure on those Republican senators, specifically Tillis and Cassidy, who have been very oppositional to President Trump because President Trump supported primaries that were successful against their senatorship, if that's a word. Before we take a break here, our YouTube poll is, should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act? The president just said there that when you look at the Save America Act and you look at everything else, his words, everything else is a yawn. He says, if he's voting in this poll, yes, prioritize it above all else. You can text us at 314-241-9797. We've got some text to read here, Ryan.
Yeah, this one just came in recently. It says, very briefly, SAVE is a must pass, and that echoes the sentiment we've been getting all day from the text line.
The YouTube poll is located on today's live broadcast. Go subscribe to the Annie Frey Show on YouTube and stay connected right there. Would love to have you as part of our Annie Frey YouTube community. And you can vote on the live broadcast on YouTube in the live chat. That's where the poll is. The results in about 10 minutes. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. That's the website. If you need basement waterproofing services, if it's real bad, if you know someone who's got it real bad, or if you just started to notice, we might have an issue down there in the basement, connect with Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair. 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Matt Hayes has an incredible team, loyal team at Home Shield Foundation Repair because they're confident in the work that they do, and they stand by it with a lifetime warranty on that basement waterproofing that they can do in your home. If you have other foundation repair concerns, they likely can help you with those as well. They detail the services they offer on their website at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. But if you want to get them out to give a look to your issue that you're dealing with, just give them a call at 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. Matt Hayes, great guy, great family-owned business, local right here from St. Louis, waiting to take your phone call. homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
This is your reminder on 4th of July night to tune in to 97.1 FM Talk. It's 3 hours of commercial-free American and patriotic music set to your evening. This is Ryan Wiggins. I'll be your host. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed. Your property taxed. Everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
All right, what is there to talk about other than the Save America Act? According to President Trump, nothing. That's all there is.
Are you sure about that?
I do want to talk about this story that, I don't know if you pulled this clip. Did you pull the clip about downtown? I don't think I sent it to you, Brad, about downtown St. Louis.
No, I didn't.
So you've got it?
I think I've got the exact story
you're talking about. Do you have the Fox 2 Now story? That's what I...
Yeah,
that's what,
I do.
Well, okay, let's read it from Fox 2 Now. Give credit to the author of this, because I think that this is an interesting thing that St. Louis needs to be aware of. Specifically, Fox 2 Now covered it.
Yeah, from Joey Schneider at Fox 2. Says St. Louis has one of the least vibrant and welcoming downtowns in the world.
That's not true. We have a whole bunch of people welcoming folks right off the Stan Musial Bridge. When
and they sit there in tents and they burn things in the winter.
They burn things in the summer.
They shower in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's a welcome in a way.
Not welcoming is a really appropriate way. It's almost a kind way to explain what this is. And it's so sad because it is a great city.
From July 8th to November 4th, 2025, so basically half the year there, a Gensler research team surveyed residents about how they perceived their downtown business district. So this is people surveying their own city. It's not travelers.
People coming here and going, ooh.
It's St. Louis residents saying this about St. Louis, and every other city saying it about their own too, with prompts such as, my downtown business district feels blank. And then they'd ask, authentic. We actually did decent with authentic. So, okay.
Well, we certainly have a personality.
Sure. Memorable, we did okay with. But then you get into the 50s and below with statements like beautiful.
Could be.
Which, it's. I would say it's on the bubble there. Iconic, I would say that one even would be too. Vibrant was low. Walkable was low. And welcoming was low. So, on the concept of a, quote, vibrant downtown St. Louis, we finished tied with Portland, Oregon for the worst in the United States and tied for second worst in the world, ahead of only a city called San Jose in Costa Rica. This is a wide-ranging study. On the concept of a welcoming downtown, St. Louis finished worst in the United States and fourth worst worldwide.
It's so sad. It doesn't need to be that way.
It doesn't, especially because we have a lot of things going right in Missouri, and St. Louis
What do you mean by that, going right?
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Well?
Going well. There are things going in the right direction in the state of Missouri, and we are attracting a lot more attention than we used to as far as being business-friendly and people-friendly. A lot of people moving to Missouri. We're definitely not among those states that are losing congressional districts like Illinois is. So there's a lot that's happening, but St. Louis just hasn't caught up. I think we're lagging.
What do you want St. Louis to be?
I want it to be the heart and soul of Missouri. It still is.
What about the heart and soul of the Midwest?
Well, that too.
The gateway to the Midwest, the gateway to the West. It could at least be the heart and soul of the Midwest. And gosh, while Chicago is suffering right now, like Chicago should be it. I want that for Chicago too. I want Chicago to be the greatest city in the country. I want Chicago to get its act together and to outperform, to be, a destination that outperforms New York and LA. They're both proximity to the rest of the world is an asset on the coast, but it is absolutely an asset to be in the center of the country in Chicago. I want great things for it. I don't want to give up on Chicago, and I'm not doing it. I know a lot of Illinois folks are like, separate Cook County. It's not going to happen, and I have more hope that we are going to fix Chicago than we are going to separate from it. Make of that whatever you will. But, if you're like, gosh, all these cities, they're run by Democrats, and they've run them into the ground. I don't want that as a talking point that I can just go back to.
No, it's not a goal. You're talking about it because you don't like it. Well, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, we live here. Here's a realistic expectation that St. Louis, I think, could get. Because I'm not saying St. Louis is going to become like a conservative bastion and, oh my gosh, we have so much private money coming here. But it does need to start attracting private money, and it could do that as the state of Missouri continues to become that destination, because we have a beautiful, architecturally, we have a beautiful city. There's a lot going on here visually that could be resurrected pretty easily, that if you had private money coming in, it could be an Austin, Texas type of city.
Is there a reason why in North City, I'm asking this out of complete ignorance, no angle, nobody's put this thought in my head, but what if we just cleared out all the crumbled stuff and just there was vacant space?
Well, that's North City.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Like when you go in and when you're coming in off the bridge and you get a dip of that.
Yeah.
You come in off the San Miguel Bridge, you go down Tucker, but you go through the south side of North City. Is there a reason why you aren't clearing that space out and moving in a direction where you uphold what can be upheld, but you get rid of what is not providing an actual service?
I mean, you have to attract money. You have to attract investment. And I'm not talking about hedge fund managers. I'm talking about people who want to open a restaurant on Washington and that kind of thing. You have to have pockets where people are willing to come in and go, I'll put my blood, sweat, and tears into that place right there.
Well, I was going to say, to Annie's point, Bill Pulte and Jack Dorsey led a initiative to do that up in North County back in 2019.
Yeah, and then COVID came in and wrecked the whole thing. What do you think, Ryan? Should Congress prioritize passing the Save America Act?
I'm actually a no, but I support it.
Brad?
I am yes, and I support it.
I am a yes above all else. Get it done. This is the lasting legacy that this Congress and this administration can give to the country that I really, really think is necessary. 200 votes in today's YouTube live chat poll. Come subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and ring the bell for notifications to be notified when the poll goes up. That's right. 90% of you say yes above all else. The no's split 5 and 5. Mark Reardon, next.